watching the American Conference on ESPN. We are not far from the Riverwalk to close out the regular season here in San Antonio. And at 5-5, Army has its eyes on a bowl berth as they step inside the Alamo Dome to match up with UTSA. The Roadrunners became bowl eligible just last week with a dominant victory over East Carolina. And hi there and welcome inside the Alamo Dome. Happy Thanksgiving weekend to you and yours. Along with former North Texas quarterback LaDarren McClain, I'm Ted Emmerich. Natalie Calabat coming right up. You know, Army was one of the great stories in college football last year. They won 12 games and the American in their first year in the league, led by Captain America at quarterback Bryson Daly. This year, some heartbreaking losses. They took some time to find their new quarterback, LD. It's another native Texan back in his home state today, Cale Helms.
You know, he's been phenomenal, and I thought he was dominant last week, even though in a losing effort against Tulsa, he had 159 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns, but he made this offense work like it's built to do. And when we talked to offensive coordinator Cody Worley, he said, hey, his toughness is what makes us go, and that's why this team will always be in every single game. And with his 15 touchdowns on the season, it ties him 5th in single season for the program at Army. And so this young man is certainly reeling off, and he's one of 4 quarterbacks in the nation with 120 yards rushing or more and 2 or more touchdowns in 4 games this season. This young man is fun to watch.
And LD for UTSA, of course, Owen McCown does his damage through the air, and he's coming off a career game.
You know, he's got that football pedigree. I thought he was surgical last week against the Pirates defense, which was #1 in the conference, mind you. And he was 73% completion percentage in the game, and I thought he was fantastic. And that puts him 2nd all time in touchdown passes with 54 at UTSA.
Inside the Alamo Dome against the Roadrunners. Under Jeff Traylor, since he was hired in 2020, they have won every conference home game they have played. 25 up and 25 down. UTSA won the coin toss and deferred the option to the second half. So Jaffer Murphy is ready to kick away. UTSA sporting their lights out black jerseys for a 2nd straight week. And off we go as Murphy puts it into the end zone. Army to start at the 25. Downstairs to Natalie.
Guys, UTSA has started fast lately, scoring on 6 of its last 7 opening drives. But Army, they haven't allowed a first quarter touchdown since September 25th. The Roadrunners offensive coordinator Justin Burke laughed when I told him that stat. He said he didn't even know that. He says the team's focus to just put good drives together and not think too much. The guys are excited to go out there and play, but he did credit the defense. He said they have a lot of a play in that fast start, and of course the offense is led by Owen McCown with a career-high 5 touchdowns in that win over East Carolina.
Yeah, and that Owen McCown will have to wait because Army has the ball first, and Noah Short, the all-around weapon. They can run it with him, they can throw it to him, picks up a first down on the toss, 11 yards.
And I like what they came out. They started with a 4 wide receiver look just to see how this defense would react to that, and then they shift back into their normal offensive formation, and they can do anything they want, and they come with the toss outside to Noah Short. And that's a nice opening play to start the drive.
Helms was the 3rd string quarterback before the season, but ascended to QB1 by the middle of the year. Here's the pitch to Samari Howard, another native Texan from Temple, about 150 miles to the north, and he's hit near the line of scrimmage.
And that's a fantastic job by Shad Banks Jr. Shad Banks has got to have one of his better games, and it's going to be a unique game because he's going to get Army offensive linemen coming at him from all different directions, but that time there he had a clear path to the running back, and you can see his athleticism and his smarts there.
And LD Banks, the reigning American Conference Defensive Player of the Week, had a fumble recovery and a pick 6 last week against East Carolina in that huge win over the Pirates. Helms to throw for the first time, and it's incomplete over the head of Parker Pulaski. Helms throws on average about 6 times per game. It's funny, we made a crack with Cody Worley, their offensive coordinator, yesterday, LD. Are there plays in the playbook for tight ends at Army? One caught a 2-point conversion last week. Said, we rep it all week. There was one.
You got to tell you, hey, say a prayer for us, too. Speaking it to existence to make that happen. He did have the tight end open. That's just a missed pass. But not only did they not complete it, it at least shows this defense they have that capability. So look for that play later on in the game.
So a 3rd and long. Certainly Army doesn't like being in this situation, but Helms runs it just shy of the 40-yard line, picks up 3. Army is ultra aggressive on 4th down, but they're going to punt it here to start.
Well, that was the down and situation in this series. I thought the opening series for UTSA's defense was going to be critical because the game speed, you can only simulate so much in the course of a week. But that first drive, that speed can get up on you. But that is a great job by Coach Lepp and his staff to get these guys prepared this opening drive. And it looks like they're going to get the ball here.
Yeah, the UTSA coaches said this week it is just miserable trying to prepare for everything that Army presents. The running game, the option attack. James Wagenseller with the punt, and David Amador II has the fair catch near the 20-yard line. Owen McCown, the son of Josh, the 18-year NFL veteran, now the quarterback's coach with the Vikings. He has battled injuries all year, LD, from his shoulder to his leg to his groin. He is finally healthy now.
Yeah, and that makes a huge difference, right? Anytime you play the quarterback and you've got your body with you, right? It's one thing to have your mind good to go, but if your body can't react to what your mind's telling you to do, it is tough to play the toughest position in sport, in my opinion. But he has been rocking and rolling. And especially last week where I thought he was outstanding throwing 5 touchdown passes.
And he did that without his top receiver, Devin McEwen, who is back in the lineup today. Here's a screen for A.J. Wilson, the transfer from FCS Houston Christian. And it's a gain of about 4, tackled by Gavin Shields.
Yeah, these outside linebackers for this defensive Army have had one of their better games. And Gavin Shields there running to the ball. You're going to see Eric Ford, who's on the other side, number 40. These guys have to run to the ball and make tackles in space.
Also back in the lineup for the Roadrunners, Robert Henry Jr. And he's got the call here on 2nd down, twisted down by Caleb Fortner, the senior captain at inside linebacker. Just a short gain on the play. Henry missed last week, LD, with an ankle injury. He's been bottled up the last 2 games that he did play, but we're talking about a guy who led the nation in rushing the first month of the season.
He has the talent, and he's built specifically for this offense, in my opinion. The way they like to do the stretch zones, his patience, the way he presses the seams a lot of times in the run game.
On 3rd and 4, it is Henry. He breaks 1 tackle. Needs to make it to the 29. And it looks like he's got the first down. Hit by corner Justin Weaver, but Henry picks up 5 and moves the chains.
Yeah, that's the one point of emphasis. You talk to anybody on the other side for Army, they said, hey, we have got to get these guys down on the ground. Even Coach Monken himself says, hey, we've got to get them down. And that right there, he made a couple of guys miss. Colin Madison might be the best tackler on the team. He made him miss in open space.
Now on 1st down, rolling McCown out, the lefty throws back to Amador, who scored on a screenplay last week against East Carolina. Army limits him to a gain of 3 here. Eric Ford made the hit. Now Jeff Traylor in year 6 as UTSA's coach, he told us this week he's guarding against a letdown after beating ECU 58-24 last week. As he put it to us, how does a bowler follow up a 300, a perfect game, usually not with another 300?
You have to forget it happened. That's how you get it. And if there's anybody that can get his team refocused in a matter of days, it is Coach Traylor. He's been there, he's done it, and I'm going to be very confident these guys are going to come out and play one of their good games.
Henry to the outside. And he is cut down by Jaden Mays, the corner. Such a key for Army. The coaches could not stress this enough last night, LD. They have to tackle UTSA on the perimeter.
Well, this is one of these teams that you just have to knock them out. And they're going to be physically tough at the point of contact, but the discipline. Watch the outside contain right there. And Jaden Mays goes straight for the legs to cut it out, so there's no chance to break a tackle. That's great defense there. Now you put the defense back in their favor to where you have this offense on 3rd and medium.
Loss of a yard, bringing up 3rd and 8. Army sends pressure. McCown hangs in and fires a strike for a 1st down. It is Amador. Past the 50-yard line, he beat Mays for 18.
And I can tell you this pass play does not happen if the pass protection is not outstanding. Look at the wall here. He's got time to look middle and then come back and throw the deep in route to Amador across the middle. And it was a fantastic route. He keeps separation from the defensive back, gives his quarterback a little space.
Now on 1st down, McCown back to the air, and there is Devin McEwen. Missed last week with a hamstring injury, and he picks up 9 yards on 1st down. Well, Jeff Monken, year 12, again, the special season a year ago. He said that after blowing that game last week against Tulsa, they were up by 11 with 4 minutes to go. He said, I am distraught. I have not slept all week. Thankfully, my players are a little more resilient.
Yeah, he was a little heated last night, and that just shows you that the love of the game and that these games mean so much to these guys.
On 2nd and a yard, McCown hits an open McEwen. Devin McEwen breaks a tackle, and he's inside the 5. A 1st and goal for UTSA. 36 yards.
Well, when you've got Robert Henry in the game, this defense has to pay extra attention, but the play-action pass sells out, and it gives the quarterback an open lane. And when you play zone and the quarterback holds the ball long enough, you lose containment of receivers. And McEwen is one of these guys, you have to know where he is every single time he's on the field, and that's a nice big chunk play to get inside the 5.
Amador in motion on 1st and goal, and McCown swings it to him. Amador, the high school quarterback, the flip. And it is caught for the touchdown. Patrick Overmeyer. So Jeff Traylor reaches deep into the bag to open the final home game of the season.
Well, sometimes you've got to pull that play out from the back of the playbook. And this is one of these ones that you practice and practice and hope you get that perfect scenario the defense lines up in. And it was perfect execution there by the Roadrunners. And glad to see Overmeyer there get another touchdown.
By the way, Overmeyer himself, a former high school quarterback. So Amador, a receiver now. And they're going to take a closer look just to make sure the play is under further review.
And that's pretty standard stuff. They're reviewing every touchdown anyway.
Usually not stopping play to do it, but you wonder if there is enough to overturn it. We'll take a closer look.
And see how dangerous that is, but it's just the game of inches. And let's see if he gets a foot.
And it's about which foot lands first.
Yeah.
That's the key here. That left foot lands out of bounds, LD. The right foot, it looked like they're landed in the end zone. Again, the ruling on the field was a touchdown. Is there evidence that is clear and obvious to overturn it?
Yeah, here it is again. And right there you can see just almost knocks that pass down. Eric Ford did, and let's watch the foot. Which one comes down?
I think that right foot landed first.
Yeah, I mean, they're showing it up in the Jumbotron up in the stadium, and you can see the crowd's reaction now.
And from that angle, it is almost simultaneous. From the other angle, it looked like that right foot came down first.
I think it's bang, bang is kind of what it is.
Yeah, that's a touchdown.
Bang. Yeah, I think that's a great call.
Yeah, that right foot comes down. He's got possession. It is secured, and it is a touchdown. So Patrick Overmeyer has his 3rd touchdown of the season, and once again, Jeff Traylor's offense scores on its opening drive. It's now 7 of the last 8 games that the Roadrunners have come away with points on their opening series. Michael Petro, the walk-on sophomore kicker. Makes it 7-0. A stop and a score. A perfect start for UTSA in the regular season finale. The double pass from David Amador II to Patrick Overmeyer puts UTSA in front here in the final game of the regular season. You know, not many teams have success here in the Alamo Dome since Jeff Traylor has become the head coach. Army has both of these wins here in the Dome for Army in non-conference play, of course, but they did it in 2020 and they did it a couple of years ago.
Well, I'm sad to say, Ted, you and I were there September 6th. That game, so I'm a little sad to say, but it takes a unique breed to come into this building and win this game, right? You have to have something cut different, and Army's got that, right? They're unique on offense, and I'm telling you, you have to knock them out and take them out of their own misery sometimes when you play them head-to-head.
Lloyd Benson brings it in for Army. Once again, they'll start from the 25. Yeah, the record overall for Traylor at UTSA at home here, 33-4. But again, Jeff Monken has 2 of those wins by opponents here on the ledger. Army had to punt on its first possession after picking up a first down. Cale Helms and company back to work. The pitch to Short, who picked up the first down on the last drive, and he's got another good gain past the 30-yard line, a gain of 8. Jimmy Wyrick ushered him out.
Yeah, this is a good sign. If this offense can get the triple going, right? It's a fake there. Quarterback keeps. Now he decides to pitch. But to do that, you better have blocking on the perimeter. That's a great job, Samari Howard, number 27, He maintains his block long enough for Noah Short to pick up nearly a first down.
Short was a DB to start his career at Army before being moved to offense. On second down, Carson Smith bludgeons for the first down to the 37. Yeah, Noah Short, he made a big play in the Army-Navy game, blocked a punt. He was playing defense, special teams, and Jeff Monken saw his speed. And so we got to put Noah Short on offense. Cody Worley agreed, so they moved him to that slot back position.
Yeah, and he's fit in there really nicely because now if they do decide to pass, if they've got that element, he's got enough ball skills that he can get out in these routes. And we've seen him here early in this first quarter, his ability to run the rock as well.
Short the motion man. The rocket toss, a staple in the Army playbook, and UTSA diagnoses it well. Wyrick there on the edge. It's a gain of only a yard.
And these cornerbacks for this defense of UTSA have got to be physical today. And that's a great job by Martin, number 3. He's the cornerback. He comes up and keeps outside contained. And when you can set the edge in the defense, that allows the backside pursuit to come in and make the tackle around the line of scrimmage.
Of course, Army's not always under center in that traditional flex bone. Cody Worley said it has really evolved in his time there at West Point. Here's the pistol on second down, and the option pitch to Short. Finds the sideline, and Short up to the 46, just shy of the first down. Owen Pee-wee, the money backer, basically the nickel for UTSA, made the stop.
Yeah, Cody Worley told us, he says, hey, we've got a little bit elements of all types of offenses. I think this is still formation-wise a different element, but the blocking and the basic skill of what they're trying to do is what Army football is all about. And they get to the edge, putting stress on the defense, making them have to defend inside, and then all of a sudden they've got to run to the sideline to make a play.
3rd and a yard. And it's Helms the whole way, and he is hit just short of the line to gain. Walk-on defensive end Kenny Ozawalu went down low, 4th down, and expect Army to go for it.
And no doubt about it here. Watch the penetration here by this defense. You got to hold your ground at some point, and there's the cornerback one more time popping in there again.
Only FAU has gone for it more on 4th down than Army across the nation.
And you can see UTSA putting an extra big boy into the game on that defensive line.
4th and a yard. And a timeout for the Black Knights. We'll step aside. Will the decision be the same for Jeff Monken out of the timeout? I think so. Well, the American on ESPN Plus is home to 40-plus college football games, over 1,000 exclusive live events in every American Conference championship through the season. For all the information, go to stream.espn.com. Army ranks second nationally in fourth down conversions and attempts this year. As Jeff Monken told our good friend Adam Brenneman on his podcast in the offseason, analytics were made for a school like Army. Going for it on 4th and a yard from their own territory. Helms won't get there. He is denied. Ozawalu, Jamie Buxton, and the rest of his Roadrunner friends come up with the turnover on downs.
I want you to look at the defensive penetration. Watch number 97 flash. He's the first guy inside, and once he gets that penetration, that throws the timing of the blocks off, Ted, and then they're able to get the ball carrier down. Obviously, Helms there. Watch this here from field level. There it is. You got outside contained, so he can't bounce it, and the penetration from the inside is there. That is outstanding team defense, being disciplined, and playing your assignment football.
Well, once again, Army stopped on 4th down. Such a bitter experience last week against Tulsa when they went for it on 4th and 3. Got stopped. Tulsa eventually kicked the game-winning field goal. UTSA takes over with excellent field position, and Henry runs it to the 40-yard line. It's a gain of 6.
In my opinion, the reason why this offense has gotten back to the way the Roadrunners like to play is the run game. And it doesn't matter if it's Robert Henry, if it's Will Henderson, they've been able to run the football. That is a quarterback's best friend. And when you have that running game as your security blanket, now you can take those play-action plays and take those shots downfield.
LD, to your point, Jeff Traylor said that McCown is a different quarterback with a running game. You know it, having played the position. It's not all on your shoulders.
Absolutely.
McCown on the half roll, almost taken down, and incomplete, just behind Amador. Jack Bowsam had a beat on McCown, could not wrap him up.
And that's what the Black Knights have to do. They have to harass McCown in the backfield. They have to get to him. You don't necessarily have to hit him every time or sack him. Just harass him a little bit to get the timing off. That's a great job on the back end, too, because the secondary is locked up man-to-man.
Now, Army only has 10 sacks on the year. That ranks last in the American, and only UCLA has fewer in the nation. Bowsam so close to one there. 3rd and 4, and UTSA calls a timeout. Well, half of the American Conference Championship coming up Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC is set. That's because North Texas pushed past Temple yesterday in Denton to secure a spot. Yes, Coach Eric Morris is going to Oklahoma State. So what? 6 straight wins, 11-1 overall. They will play Tulane if LD, the Green Wave, beat Charlotte tonight on ESPNU.
Yeah, fun times at Mean Greenland for sure, but a lot to still be settled, and here it is. Just kind of lays it out. Who has that best chance?
Of course, the 5 highest-ranked conference champions earn a spot in the 12-team college football playoff, and somebody from the group of 5 is going to be there. Most likely, you're assuming that Tulane beat Charlotte tonight, a 30-point favorite, that it would be that winner of Tulane and North Texas next week, assuming that's the matchup, would earn a spot in the playoff. What's at stake here in San Antonio? Army wants to go to a bowl game. They want that 6th win, and they want to stop right now. 3rd and 4 for UTSA. And it's Henry slicing ahead for the first down. Boy, Robert Henry Jr. looks just fine coming back from that ankle injury. He picks up 10 yards.
This is a fantastic play call by Justin Burke, the offensive coordinator, anticipating the bailout by the linebackers in this coverage. And they hit him with a delayed draw to arguably one of the best players certainly in the country and running the ball, and Robert Henry. And that's 3 for 3 on 3rd down. That was one of my things coming in. Could they be better on 3rd down? They were 9th in the American Conference coming in at 40%. Right now, they are 3 for 3 in 3rd down conversions.
You do that, you keep Army's offense, which will grind away on you off the field. Henry again with the stutter step now. And he's corkscrewed down with a gain of 8. Eric Ford made the tackle.
Yeah, right now, this offensive line of UTSA is starting to get a little bit comfortable. And when this offensive line is big as they are, they have a decided size advantage against the Army front 4, front 3 sometimes. Now they're starting to be bullies, and they're pushing them around, and these little bitty runs are starting to reel off 5-7 yards at a clip now.
On 2nd and 2, feed Henry again. And this time he's lassoed down. A nice tackle by Gavin Shields near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's an outstanding tackle, and that's got to be a lonely feeling, right? You're the only guy out there, and you're one-on-one with an electric player like Robert Henry, but that just shows you the fearlessness of this defense, that they can make those plays when they absolutely need to make it.
Now, Henry did not practice at all last week. He did return this week. And now here is what UTSA calls the rugby pat with Patrick Overmeyer. Yeah, it kind of looks like a scrum. It's not the tush push. They have run this play all year with great success. But the spot does not appear to be favorable here on 3rd and a yard. I don't think he got it.
I don't think he got it, and I don't think there's any decision to make here. I think you've got to be aggressive in this game. You've got to put points on the board, and field goals, yes, it can help you, but touchdowns against this offensive Army, they're not built to come back from too far behind, so you got to go get this.
Overmeyer, the former high school quarterback, again lining up. The rugby pat. He muscles ahead. He needs the 20, and it looks like he has it this time.
Boy, how'd you like to be in the middle of all that? I mean, that is a lot of humanity going head-to-head.
I mean,
rugby scrum, that is the worst thing.
It is a first down. I mean, you were an option quarterback. Yeah. I don't think you ever ran that.
No, not that. I'm trying to get to the perimeter with the little guys outside. Yeah, but that's a good call by Coach Traylor. You want to keep that momentum in games like this because there's going to be no quit in Army. They're going to play every single play 100%. So you've got to use these possessions to your advantage and try to capitalize with touchdowns, not necessarily field goals.
Could be the final play of the quarter. McCown slings it to the end zone for A.J. Wilson, and it's batted away by Colin Madison. Madison, the safety, has had a terrific year for Army. What a play there.
Ted, that's outstanding coverage because he's out there on an island. This defense is manned up, so he has got to play a play on the outside, and he doesn't contact the interference, makes a clean play, and makes a play on the ball. That's fantastic defense.
Madison was the National Defensive Player of the Week in Week 2 when Army knocked off Kansas State, broke up 3 passes, and had an interception. Back to Henry. And Army gums things up. Only a yard. It'll be 3rd and long for UTSA in the red zone on the other side. Well, Patrick Overmeyer kept the drive alive with the 4th down conversion. He's got the only touchdown of the game. The quarterback turned tight end on the receiving end from a high school quarterback. David Amador, UTSA leading on its senior day. We start the second quarter here in San Antonio with UTSA up 7-0 over Army. And moments ago, Natalie Calabat caught up with Army coach Jeff Monken.
Coach, Owen McCown is 5 for 7 in passing in the first quarter. How does your defense put more pressure on him?
He's a good player. He's got good guys in front of him. They're doing a nice job. They're very explosive, and I hope we can play better right here in this second quarter. Our offense put our defense in a bad spot. They got themselves in at least a 3rd down right now. We'll see if we can get a stop.
We appreciate the time. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Defense can rise up here in the red zone as Owen McCown and UTSA faces a 3rd and 9.
Well, Ted, looks like they're going to empty the backfield, so you've got 5 eligible receivers See if Army can react to that the right way here.
Just a three-man rush, still a little bit of pressure, and McCown throws it short to DJ Allen at the 15-yard line, about 5 yards short of the first, and the field goal unit comes on.
Yeah, I think that's an outstanding call there by defensive coordinator Nate Woody. He changed the picture at the snap of the ball, and it looks like they were going to play one look, but then they bail again at the snap of the ball, and they're protecting themselves in the middle of the field, and then you've arguably got two of the best players in the inside in the American Conference, and Andon Thomas and Caleb Fortner there.
Michael Petro, the walk-on, was 3 for 3 last week on field goals after he missed a couple against Charlotte the week before. From 32, Petro drills it. And it's a 2-score lead for UTSA. So the Roadrunners do come away with points, 10-0 here in San Antonio. It is Rivalry Saturday after all. There are very few rivalries like this one. Tonight on ABC and also on the ESPN app, the 90th edition of the Iron Bowl. Number 10 Alabama and Auburn. The Tide can clinch their spot in the SEC championship game in Atlanta with a win. Here in San Antonio, UTSA now up 10-0 over Army. Black Knights need a win today to become bowl eligible. Of course, they could pick up their 6th win if they beat Navy in a couple of weeks, but that would be after the bowl matchups are announced. They've got to do it today. Benson is driven back just past the 15. And, of course, a week from Sunday, we're going to find out the full 12-team playoff, the bracket revealed a week from Sunday, noon Eastern on ESPN. And from the American, from the Group of 5 LD, right now it is Tulane.
Yeah.
They have to beat Charlotte tonight on ESPNU. They have to beat North Texas next week in the conference championship, but the path is laid out for the Green Wave.
Yeah, I certainly think so. And you got to think with A&M going down to the Longhorns last night, Texas Tech could move up into that 3rd spot, especially dominating their performance today, but they still have to play BYU in the Big 12 championship.
On first down, Helms keeps it for a couple. Yeah, it'll be Tech and BYU with a rematch in Arlington. Tech owned that first meeting in Lubbock.
It's always tough to beat a team for the second time, so that is going to be a highly interesting ball game, and a lot to still be decided, certainly with this college football playoffs.
Army has come up empty on their first 2 possessions. UTSA has come away with scores on their first 2. On 2nd and 8, Helms, the pitch to Short, who's been productive so far. And here's another big run by Noah Short. Down the sideline. Does he have enough in the tank? The stiff arm at the end. And it's a touchdown. Noah Short going the distance for Army.
That is outstanding execution, and that's what we've come to expect. You've got 8 guys on the line of scrimmage, and if one guy does not make the tackle or they get out of position, the way they are technically sound on offense for Army and the way the quarterback can operate pitching the ball on the perimeter, and then you just see the flat-out speed by Noah Short. That is outstanding, and that's why the Black Knights are always in every single game they play. They're always going to continue to fight.
Well, just like the UTSA touchdown, they're going to go under the hood to take a closer look at this one. Of course, it comes down to the very end near the pylon. Was Noah Short able to reach it to the goal line? Here we go.
I think you got to keep an eye on his feet. He definitely gets to the pylon, so that checks the 1 box, right? But where does his feet land? I think that's a touchdown.
He hits the pylon, too, before he even hits the ground. Ball still in possession there. And assuming it stands, it is the longest run for the Black Knights this season. An 81-yard touchdown.
How about that play? It was explosive. And Noah Short, we talked about him at the beginning of the game, how they utilize him in this offense. And you can see he's dynamic. We even talked to the offensive coordinator, Cody Worley. He said he's the most dynamic player on this team. And that says a lot for an offense that really a lot of them are just tough as nails, but you need some dynamic players.
And it is a touchdown. The first rushing touchdown of the season for Noah Short. Just his 2nd overall. He caught a touchdown pass, and man, of course he's fired up. Much needed for the Black Knights, and they shift into the traditional PAT set. Here for Dawson Jones, the sophomore. Ten to 7. Noah Short going long on the ground, LD, 81 yards.
Wow, this is a thing of beauty, and this is what this offense has come to do. And if you're out of position, they have the firepower to make you pay. Noah Short to the house.
Well, Noah Short loves the Alamo Dome. 2 years ago in Army's win over UTSA here, he caught a touchdown pass, and now he goes 81 yards to the house on the ground to give Army its first points. A 10-7 Roadrunners lead. Again, Army must win to become bowl eligible for a second straight year. A fair catch, UTSA to start from the 25 back to the touchdown.
I want you to watch the misdirection. First of all, you see the lineman block right. Well, that was just long enough to create blocking angles. And then you have Carson Smith, who's technically the fullback in the backfield. He's the guy to get to the flat and just make a good enough block to where Noah Short can run in the alley. And once he got in the alley, he was able to get to top end speed and get to the pylon.
Maybe the fastest player on the team, going all the way, and of course, Army gets it done on the ground. No, not to the level of last year with Bryson Daly, but still third in the nation this season. Will Henderson is in at running back now, and McCown's pass is high for Houston Thomas. A dangerous throw with Casey Larkin nearby.
And that's what I'm talking about. I said it in the first quarter. You don't necessarily have to sack McCown. You have to be able to harass him, and that's exactly what happens here. And this is a great job of discipline on these nakeds and these bootlegs. You need to have somebody running at the quarterback to make those off-the-mark passes.
McCown fires to Amador, and lowering the shoulder. Amador right to the line to gain. Jaden Mays on the wrong end of that hit.
Now, this is just a high percentage pass. If they're going to play soft, we're going to raise up and throw the hitch route. But then you've got one of the more dynamic runners after the catch. And we even talked to Coach Burke. He said he's a strong runner with the football in his hands. And that right there shows you everything you need to know about number 8.
And kind of like McCown, Amador has really come on as he has gotten healthy. He dealt with turf toe the first 2 months of the season. It is a first down for UTSA. Now the screen for Amador. Got a block from McEwen and a short gain as Gavin Shields and Casey Larkin were there to meet him.
And this is what a point of emphasis. We talked to Coach Woody last night. He says, hey, they like to throw these wide receiver screens. We can't get too overly aggressive because they throw the fake screen and throw the pass behind us. But that time, Justin Weaver stayed at home, kept outside contained, and that allowed the inside pursuit to come up and make a minimal a stop there for a minimal gain there.
It really is job number one for any defense that has to deal with Owen McCown and the UTSA passing game. You're going to get that steady diet of screens and then look out for the screen and go. And they take a shot. Here's the middle screen for Will Henderson, and he's dragged down from behind. Once again, Army disciplined. When has that ever been said? Cale Newton with the tackle after a gain of 3.
Every single time. These guys, and you heard it from the coaches. We talked to them last night. Hey, we may not have the more talented players, but by gosh, we are going to be in the right position at the right time, and you are going to have to put us out to beat us. And that right there was a perfect example on defense.
Now 3rd and 6. UTSA, good success on 3rd down so far today. McCown down the seam and almost intercepted by Colin Madison. McCown was trying to locate Overmeyer, and it was over his head.
Oh, it's so close here, so close. And they got the play that they wanted. It was a too high safety look. This is a great look here. You're going to throw to the middle of the field. That is going to be open, but you've got the trailing linebacker, Andon Thomas, underneath that you have to make sure you get it high enough. But if you get it too high, you throw it to that backside safety, and Madison almost had his second INT of the year.
Lloyd Benson awaits the punt from Aussie Cale Hogan. And I think that it definitely went out of bounds there inside the 5. I wonder if it made contact with the gunner on the way down. It is marked out at the 3-yard line. An excellent punt by Cale Hogan no matter what.
Boy, he hit this one perfectly. Yeah, let's take a look. I don't think so, Ted.
It did not.
I think it went right by him. Yeah, good camera work there, guys. That's what you have to do in these types of games. You know it's going to be grimy. You know it's going to be gritty in this game against Army. That's how they play. But special teams, you can't forget that. And now you tilt the field back the other way to make this offense have to go 90-plus yards here.
Now from the 3. And the toss to short. A flag is down near side at the line of scrimmage. And Short can't get going. But again, a marker is down.
Yeah, a lot of times if they let it play like that, that's more times than not against the defense. But we'll have to see. Let them sort it out.
Kevin Randall, the referee today. It was Cam Blaylock on the defensive line, the culprit. Jeff Traylor, your thoughts?
That gives this offense some space to where they're not really having their heels on the back of their own end zone. But this is a dangerous time, in my opinion, for this defense. This is where a lot of option teams, because they have so much space behind the defense, you get an angle of block, and you can bust another long one.
Pitch to short and hit low by Wyrick. But another nice gain for Noah Short, and he moves the chains.
Yeah, everybody always asks me, why do you run the option? Why do you pitch into the boundary? Well, the angles are shorter, and so the offensive line can get the alley seamed a little bit better. And when you have a receiver play side on the short side, it creates a nice little gash quick, because the running back doesn't have to go very far to get to the alley. That time it was defended pretty well, but still a first down for the Black Knights.
Helms from Tomball, Texas, the greater Houston area, gives it to Jake Rendina, who barrels ahead across the 20-yard line. So starting from the 3, Army trying to establish a little rhythm on this drive after the big play touchdown last time out.
Yeah, that's one of the things in this offense. You think, hey, what about the fullback? Well, there he is, Jake Rendina. I mean, talked to Coach Worley, he said the most trustworthy player on offense. And that right there, you picked up a nice gash. And so now, even for this offense, every play in the playbook is open on second down and short here.
Carson Smith takes Rendina's place at that fullback spot. And Short looking to throw. He heaves it. He wants Brady Anderson adjusting to the football. He's got it. A flag is down as well. Army can get tricky too.
Oh, man, that's an outstanding adjustment by Brady Anderson.
It's a 24-yard pass from Noah Short. What can Noah Short not do?
I'm telling you, in this pass, he's just trying to throw it up, but sometimes that's the best thing, especially if the defensive back has his back turned to the ball. Now you allow your receiver, and they're really high on this young man, Brady Anderson, the sophomore. His ability to make plays right there adjusting to the football was outstanding.
Anderson averages almost 30 yards a catch this year. Helms wants another big play to Anderson, and this time it's just past his reach. Davin Martin had the coverage.
Now, even though they're not completing these passes, you want the defense to always have that in the back of their mind, because that'll soften a little bit on the run defense, even though they're not completing it. And I think that's a great example of first down. Most offenses in the country are going to throw the play-action pass on first down.
Coaches told us last night, we never expected Brady Anderson to make this kind of impact as a sophomore, but because of injuries, they had to count on him. And man, has he delivered and improved throughout the year. Helms keeping on the option, and a short gain to bring up 3rd down and 8. Brandon Tucker, the linebacker, holds him to a gain of 2.
Yeah, and I think this defense is doing a nice job of containing Helms. Helms is the main guy in this offense. He's going to have the most carries historically in this offense when he's been the starter this year. But right now, this UTSA defense doing a good job keying him. But these other players are starting to have some eat and being able to make some plays in the Army offense. It's a tough down and distance here for this offense, though.
But again, keep in mind, now on the plus side of the 50, most likely 2-down territory. That's how Army has played it under Jeff Monken. Helms to the air. He rifles. Caught near the sticks by Short. And let's see where they mark him. It appears to be just short for Noah Short. And so 4th down for Army.
Yeah, you got to go. This is no doubt about it. Coach Monken historically has gone for this. You talked about it in the first quarter, Ted. I think this is a all the way go here.
Got stopped in the first quarter on 4th and a yard. Once again, 4th and 1. Plenty of time on the play clock.
You got room to the top here. You got numbers to, if you want to go wide right here.
Oh, and they snap it. Helms motioning for a timeout.
Oh, man.
What is happening?
Oh, my. Oh, he got it in.
Army granted the timeout.
You know, sometimes you can overthink these short yardage situations. I know it is a big pivotal moment in the game. You want to maintain possessions, but this offense is good. They're built to get 1 yard. That's what they do. Don't change your philosophy in that. Be aggressive and just go get it.
So you said you saw an opening there on the right side of the formation.
Yeah, you can see the defense in that formation. I would be shocked if they don't come back in that same offensive formation, but you can see the defense cheat to the right, to the wide side of the field. So now Army has numbers. If they wanted to go toss sweep, if they wanted to go option, midline option, if anything they wanted to do to the boundary, they had the angles to get that yard for sure.
They've also run sneak quite a bit, but in this case, it is almost a full yard that Jeff Monken's team needs. Once again, one of the preeminent rushing teams in college football. Can they pick up a yard to extend the drive? Helms, the Texas native. And Cale Helms knifes ahead for the 1st down. The drive rolls on for the Black Knights.
Yeah, and that's what I saw. So they did come back in that same formation, and the defense did not adjust. And so that's a great timeout by Helms. Watch it here. They still have numbers, right? It's hat on hat, and that's all you need is to create a little bit of a seam for their quarterback.
Now Jake Rendina threw a block in addition to the right side of that offensive line. Remember, this drive started at the 3, and now just shy of the 30-yard line of UTSA. Option the other way, and Helms forced down at the line of scrimmage. Damian Wimberly, the sophomore from Austin, a transfer from SMU, buried him.
I'm telling you what, Brandon Tucker on defense, number 23, is having an outstanding game. He is being disruptive, even if he's not making the initial tackle, but he's back there throwing the timing of the option play off, and he was there again. And that's what made the quarterback have to cut back and not get to the perimeter and make that pitch.
Yeah, Tucker, a transfer from East Texas A&M in the FCS. He was an All-American at that level a year ago. Coaches say he has turned heads all season when he's gotten his limited opportunities. The pitch to Short. And to the perimeter. He is twisted down by Tyon Milton. The safety coming up in support of the run.
And this is great job by Coach Lepp. Lepp is saying, okay, I'm going to take my corners out. I'm going to put my safety in the cornerback position. Now I've got an extra tackler in the box or even outside the box. And Milton has shown that he is not afraid of contact. That's a great play.
And 3rd and 9 for Army, the 10th play of the drive.
Yeah, I think this is 2-down territory. It's all going to be predicated on what they do here. You don't necessarily have to get the 1st down, but you need to get at least half the yards to make here.
Just like they did the last 3rd down. Pitching to Short the other way with some space, and Noah Short is awfully close to the 1st down. He is ruled out just past the 25. So it'll be 4th and about 2 for Army.
This is where these defensive coordinators get gray hairs. They've got the defense and they've got the offense outflanked, but they don't make the play. Look at that. You're in position to hit the quarterback. Nobody is there outside to keep contained on the pitch. That's an excellent job by Helms to hold it to the very last minute and then kick it out to Short to where he can run to the corner.
Short is already well over 100 yards rushing in this first half. Again, he's got the 81-yard touchdown. 4th and 2, Army going for it again. Flag is down, might be offsides. Free play perhaps. Helms' pass is incomplete, and there's a second flag down in the backfield after Kyan Roberts-Day applied pressure on Helms. So a flag at the snap and a flag after the pass.
Yeah, that's just one of those things. This defensive line has been chasing and chasing. They've been because you can't get a clean shot on Helms a lot of times when he's back there to pass. And even when he's running, he's protecting himself. And the defensive lineman said, I got to get something on him. But you do it late. And that's the issue. Here it is. It's a great play call. I like to play action in this situation. Now, it's actually defended very, very well. Now, watch this pass is long gone. You got to have the discipline to pull up because those little things extend drives, and when stuff like that happens, a 5-minute drive turns into a 10-play, 10-minute drive, and we're on the brink of that right now with this Army offense.
Yeah, Army is cooking up a classic Black Knights drive right now. And Carson Smith takes it inside the 10. Met by Shad Banks Jr. Under 4.5 to play now in this first half. This drive has lasted more than 6 minutes.
And you know, you talk about teams keeping the opponent's offense off the field, and that's the best defense. It 100% is. Especially the way they are built, the way they like to chip at you defensively. This offense does not flinch, and they love to pound and take every little bit they can.
Helms hands it to Howard, and Howard is dropped right near the line of scrimmage.
And that, Ted, might have been the one misread there by Helms because they go with an inverted read option. And when he's looking at that, he goes back and watches that tape, he's kicking himself because he probably could have walked in the end zone if he pulls it out of the belly.
Instead, Marcellus Wilkerson hit Howard, and it's 3rd and 6. Once again, Army in 3rd and long. Helms told us he's got 35 friends and family here as he returns to his home state. Trying to cap off this drive. The jet sweep, Short, will he throw again? Boy, he thought about it, and he ran out of real estate. Knocked out of bounds. It's 4th down.
We got an injured road runner on that sideline over there. Get a little stop here, but this is probably one Short just needs to throw into the stands. The play is dead at that moment in time. You force it, bad things tend to happen when you hang on a little bit too long there.
Kendrick Blackshire is the man down for UTSA. The inside linebacker right next to Shad Banks. Both have been critical for Jeff Traylor's defense this year. Blackshire, former top recruit, started his career at Alabama. He's really found a home here. Was briefly at Texas, just up I-35 in the spring of 2024. Battled injuries. He ballooned up to about 260 pounds before finding his conditioning again and settling into a starting role with UTSA. That would be a huge loss for the Roadrunners, especially against Army's offense.
Yeah, he's a heck of a football player. Played at Duncanville High School and at dominant Texas high school football program over the years, and he was part of all their runs back in the day. And yeah, you don't like to see that there. Hope he can come back.
That might mean even more of Brandon Tucker, who you pointed out already today.
Yeah, he might have to be there. James Wally, too. You know, we talked about that also, that Wally was going to get I believe a little extra more minutes in this game as well, but.
So 4th and 8 for Jeff Monken. How do you play it now, LD?
Boy, I'm telling you what, now you got to think, okay, we fought tooth and nail just to get down here, and I would probably go ahead and take the points, get to 3. You know, it's not a guarantee here from 4th and 5 or more. I think if it was 4th and 4, maybe half the yardage, I think he definitely goes. But take the points here, tighten this game up. Your team is battled. Give them a chance here.
It's the right call. Dawson Jones is on to tie the score. He had a walk-off 27-yarder against Air Force earlier this month. This from 27 to tie the game. And we are knotted up at 10 here in the Alamo City. Army started from its own 3, and they even the score. Probably never catch Charles Barkley on one of those river walk tours with everything he said about San Antonio through the years. It's a great time. Come on, Chuck. Tie game, regular season finale here between UTSA and Army, which of course still has Navy still to come, but they have to win today to become bowl eligible. Again, the Army-Navy game comes after the bowl matchups are announced. They have to secure their spot with a win over Jeff Traylor's team here today. And Traylor is just trying to beat Army.
Yeah.
He has only done that once in his 6 years at UTSA.
Yeah, it's been tough, and rightfully so. And he's not alone. There's tons of teams across the country that have had Fitz playing Army. And it's not uncommon when you play the Black Knights.
UTSA led 10-0. Army has scored 10 in a row, but now the kick out of bounds from the Black Knights. So great field position for UTSA with just under 3 minutes to play in the half. LD, they've got 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute timeout. And remember, they'll have the ball to start the second half. Army's trying to become the 8th team from the American to earn bowl eligibility.
You know, pound for pound, the American Conference can play with just about anybody. I think these teams are so evenly matched, and then you've got some teams at the top that are just having their year. And when you play against each other like that, yeah, you're going to have some more losses. And American Conference certainly strong this year.
The count starts by firing one to David Amador II, a first down, a gain of 11 to open the drive.
Yeah, this offense has been out of sync since that opening drive of the game. And right now, they've got to get back to the basics and not get too complicated. Take what this defense is giving you and see if you can execute that.
Blitz up the middle, they pick it up, and McCown on target to A.J. Wilson. And a gain of 8 this time in front of Colin Madison.
And we talked to Coach Burke. He said our offensive guys are going to be on the sideline for some time, but when they get on the field, they better be ready to go. And right now, you see this offense ready to go, taking underneath throws. That is the best thing this offense can do, because you got to force this defense to get out of hunkering down. They're hunkering down and playing coverage over the top, and it's taking away the explosive plays.
But UTSA is now in Army territory as we hit the 2-minute timeout here in the Alamo City.
Welcome back to the Alamo Dome, where we're tied at 10 apiece between UTSA and Army. UTSA's David Amador II played every game for UTSA as a true freshman, but was limited last year due to injury and had to redshirt. Offensive coordinator Justin Burke said he bounced back really well from his injury, says he's a strong runner with the football, doesn't go down too easy. He's added a touchdown pass to his resume today, something Coach Burke talked about. He said he can do it all on the football field. He's had 5 catches and 1 passing touchdown, guys.
In that, he's been the favorite target for McCown, and again, his pedigree as a high school quarterback at North Shore, one of the iconic high school programs in the state, the greater Houston area. Amador finally healthy and producing. Out of the 2-minute timeout, Will Henderson picks up the first down to about the 43-yard line, met by Shields.
Yeah, first things first, let's get the first down. And then now let's get into our 2-minute offense if we can. And this is really the down and distance in the part of the field offensive coordinators do like to take that shot. Let's see if they do it here at play action pass.
Get 2 timeouts for the Roadrunners. Oh, high snap. McCown handles it. Maybe a broken play. He keeps the whole way, and it's a positive gain to the 35.
Hey, you'll take it any and which way you can absolutely get it. You want to keep going forward, positive momentum. Now they get into their hurry-up offense, and now with its second and medium, the defense is going to declare themselves more times than not in the coverage-wise. Now, even with UTSA with 4 wide receivers, you're probably going to see a more of a cover 2 look by this defense.
Let's see how much room they give these speedy receivers as McCown throws to the sideline, and it's incomplete. McEwen couldn't gather it in front of Jaden Mays.
Yeah, great job there by this defense to change the picture one more time again. And they show a cover 2 look, and then they flex to a more of a quarters, even cover 3 to the boundary over here to where Madison is running at the flat, making that pass difficult to complete.
So 3rd and 3 for UTSA. Just over a minute to go. And remember, UTSA will have the ball to start the second half. They love to take the lead first before going to the locker room. Henderson motioned out wide. McCown off the hands of Amador, and it's intercepted by Jaden Mays. Mays with a flag down inside the 20. Henderson, the track star, trying to bring him down, and Mays is all the way in for a pick 6. A touchdown for Army to take the lead. But check the marker at midfield.
Ted, I think this is after the INT regardless. The touchdown may not stand, but I think it's no doubt Army football after the pick.
Kevin Randall going through all the signals there as he looks toward the Army sideline. Jaden Mays coming up with the first interception that Owen McCown has thrown inside the Alamo Dome this year, and Mays has the broad axe.
Oh. Okay.
So the penalty against UTSA, it is a pick 6 for Jaden Mays, the junior from Fairfield, Ohio. Owen McCown has played so cleanly here in the friendly confines of the Alamo Dome all year. 18 touchdown passes, and his first interception at home this year is a pick 6 for Mays.
It's just a different animal when you play Army. Schematically, they don't do anything different than most teams across the country, but what is different is their ability to be 100% perfect in assignment football and being at the right place at the right time.
The first pick of the year for Mays, who had 4 a year ago. One more look.
Well, this is where I just think McCown is just off his mark a little bit. That pass is high. And that pass has to be on the body and to the inside. And watch the launch angle. See how high he's having to throw that? And then you're throwing it to a tight end. It has to go above his head. And then you get the tip drill. And then you've got Mace going back the other way. And that's what I said. It's a team that, yes, you may have bigger, faster, more talented athletes, but they play football the right way. They're in the right spots, and they're going to give 100% effort every single time, offense, defense, and special teams.
And how about it, LD? The penalty was on McCown, going low on Cale Newton, the defensive lineman. So, yes, it is a touchdown, and yes, Army, vying for a bowl berth today, is in the lead. They trailed 10-0. Now they're up 17-10. And as we said, Owen McCown struggles this year, a lot of it due to his health, and most of his poor games have come on the road against admittedly good teams. but it's his first interception at home this season. And with that penalty on McCown, Army kicks from midfield. In the hands of Henry, and they blow it dead.
There was an invalid signal given by a member of the receiving team by moving that ball was dead, whereas by the receiving team will be first down UTSA, and that's fine.
Now you can't call for something that can be interpreted as that fair catch signal on a kickoff. And Henry, of course, such an electric running back, would have loved to have given UTSA a chance in the return game, but instead it's blown dead where he fielded it.
Yeah. But isn't it amazing how this game just turned? You felt like UTSA, with the opening drive of the game, it was going to be a carbon copy of kind of what they did last week against East Carolina. But the mood all changed. Somehow, some way, Army has kept the explosiveness contained, and they've been able to make this offense get out of sync. And in my opinion, I think Owen McCown is out of rhythm, and his passes are a little bit off the mark, and this defense is starting to capitalize on what the Roadrunners want to do.
48 seconds, and McCown hooks up with McEwen to the 15. And a quick timeout with 42 seconds. So they'll add a second here. But now just one timeout remaining with the Roadrunners at their own 15.
Yeah, and you're in that gray area where, okay, we got to be careful with the ball. We want to go down and get points. You want to try to double up as much as you can because they're going to get the second half kick. But at the same time, we got to be careful because if we don't get this first down, or if we make a mistake again, Army has a short field one more time. And it's really the conundrum that most offensive coordinators run into with the time on the clock with 43 seconds, and then the down and distance, and most importantly, where they are on the field on their own 15.
McCown stepping up. And again, it's McEwen. A first down this time, just shy of the 30. Mays had the coverage. Clock stops momentarily to reset the chains.
That was a nice throw. That's the best pass he's thrown in quite some time.
Right back over the ball and to the sideline, looped it high for McEwen.
So he's having a struggles, just in my opinion, and watching him throwing to his right. It's a left-handed quarterback, we know, but your mechanics have to be on point to throw across your body, and we've seen him throw high passes to the right side in this game today.
What does he need to change?
He needs to change his footwork, get his body more open. It's kind of like a golfer. If you're trying to hit that slice, your body has to aim left to hit it right. It's opposite for a left-handed quarterback. You've got to get that left side turn and throw downhill.
Under 30 seconds. And dumping it to Henry with a hurdle over Mays and out of bounds to stop the clock with 25 seconds.
Well, he makes this look easy, right? I mean, that right there, not even close. He's hurdling like easy. And this is where this Army defense is really good. When they force you into a kind of a hurry up, they can play so good back on the deep end because these two safeties are two of the smartest players in college football, and then they play deep enough and they have good tacklers underneath.
There's even one safety who's not even in the picture at the moment. He's so far back. And McCown hits an open target, and A.J. Wilson across the Army 45. Again, the clock stops for the moment at 16 seconds. Weaver made the tackle. UTSA still has a timeout. They'd love to save it.
Block it here.
And McCown kills it with 14 seconds.
I think you need to get about 7 more yards here to have a realistic chance. Now, you keep in mind, you're indoors, so you don't have to worry about any kind of elements. And this is a great job of stepping up in the pocket, and see how his passes are a little bit different going to the left. It's downhill. The spiral is tighter, and it's on point. That was a great job extending the play. An even better job by A.J. Wilson keeping himself alive.
The target would be the 30-yard line, LD. Jeff Traylor told us he's comfortable from about 47 with Petro. McCown, can't take a sack, and he does get rid of it. Newton, along with Noah Nixon, turning up the heat.
Yeah, good inside pressure there by this defensive line of the Black Knights, and that's a problem. When you get pressure in the middle, that is a nightmare for any quarterback. You'd rather have it come on your outside, but look at the pressure inside underneath. Great team defense. That's Cale Newton, number 97, 6'5", 265, sophomore, getting some action today.
And Newton playing a lot today because of injuries up front for Army. 9 seconds, third down. McCown lasers it, wanted Wilson, it's incomplete. Larkin and Steven Nadozi were back there for Army. And it's fourth down. They are not in Michael Petro's field goal range. It's not like Brandon Aubrey kicks for the Roadrunners.
Right, when you cross midfield, you got a chance with Brandon Aubrey. And how about that defense of the Black Knights? They're going to give up some yards underneath, maybe from time to time. They're good at tackling, but they're not going to get beat deep. Any kind of mistake, and you know, we talked to Coach Munkin. He said, hey, even last week against Tulsa, we should have won that game. We're good at playing coverage deep and coming up and making a tackle. They didn't do it.
So Army calls the timeout. 4 seconds and fourth down on the way for UTSA. Probably a heave to the end zone. Well, a week from tomorrow, we will know who is in. It will be the exclusive reveal of course, the final college football playoff rankings and the bracket of 12. Reese and the guys will break it all down and unveil the matchups for the 12-team college football playoff. It all starts noon Eastern, Sunday, December 7th. On ESPN. Again, from the group of 5, according to the All-State playoff predictor, more than likely the winner of the American Conference title game. North Texas is there. Tulane can join them with a win tonight against Charlotte on ESPNU. The winner of that game would advance to the playoff, although James Madison would certainly love to state their case from the Sun Belt. Final play of the half, most likely, and McCown is snowed under. A sack to close out the half. Jack Latour, Andon Thomas rushing through. And after falling behind 10-0, Army has the lead going to the break. Eric Ford got in there. Gavin Shields as well. Everybody meet at the quarterback. Army vying for bowl eligibility. And they're up a touchdown on the road here in San Antonio at the half.
Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Tribal-Peace. There's a lot of things to be thankful for this holiday season, but one thing I'm very grateful for is the opportunity to show you this week's top plays. We'll begin on the football field, North Texas and Rice. We talk a lot about Drew Mestemaker, but how about Wyatt Young? He's pretty good at football too. There he is, breaking multiple tackles for the Mean Green. Then he gets going, running all the way to the end zone for the touchdown. North Texas wins this one. The American Volleyball Championship was this weekend. Tulsa walked away victorious, but before they got to the champ game, they had to beat Florida Atlantic in the quarterfinals. Owls putting up a fight, leading 7-5. That's Lauren Patterson, the libero, coming up big with the dig. It's crossover season, which means not only fall sports, but winter sports are going on as well. Here's Memphis men's basketball. Zach Davis to William Wharton with the reverse slam dunk. Heading back to the football field, Tulsa taking on Army. Pay attention to Lento Smith Jr. That is a one-handed pick. Also, the Golden Hurricane come back and win this game. This was a defining moment in the matchup. Lento Smith, oh my goodness. Let's head back to the volleyball court for our top play of the week. This is Charlotte and South Florida. See this dig right there? That is Maya Thomas. Pay attention to her because she's not done yet. Boom, there she is again, diving to make a huge save, but still, there's more to come from Maya Thomas, diving again. South Florida would eventually go on to win this point. They also go on to win the match. If you see a top play this week, make sure you use the hashtag American Top Plays on social. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN+. Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Travelpiece. This week, the American announced their Players of the Week in men's, women's basketball and football. We highlight those student athletes on this week's American's Best. The men's basketball player of the week is Tulane's Curtis Williams. Williams averaged 21.5 points and 6 rebounds as the Green Wave went 1-1 last week. Williams scored 32 points and grabbed 9 rebounds as Tulane defeated Boston College in overtime on Sunday evening. The offensive player of the week in football is North Texas's Wyatt Young. Young broke the American single-game receiving record with 295 yards on just 8 catches, including 2 touchdowns in the Mean Green's win at Rice. Young, who averaged 36.9 yards per catch, had touchdown catches of 74 and 84 yards. The 295 yards broke the previous conference record of 283, set by C.J. Johnson of East Carolina for Cincinnati on November 2, 2019. The women's basketball player of the week is South Florida's Stephanie Ingram. Ingram scored a career-high 27 points against Duke to help the Bulls defeat the Blue Devils for a second straight season. She scored 21 points in the second half while shooting 61.5% from the floor and 66.7% from behind the arc. For more on the weekly awards, you can visit our website at theamerican.org. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN+.
at the half here in San Antonio, and Army knows they have another game after this one. Of course, the Army-Navy game, but they want another one in addition to that. Try to guarantee a bowl berth with a win here at UTSA, and they're up 17-10. Welcome you back inside the Alamo Dome, along with LaDarren McClain. I'm Ted Emmerich. Before the game, we happened to walk past the Army locker room as they were making their way onto the field. There are a lot of words that we cannot repeat, but the message was, we have come up short again and again. We are tired of this. We are angry. They went down 10-0, and now they're in the lead.
I think they took that to heart, and really it's the type of game that Army wants to play. Kind of muck it up a little bit. Confuse offensively for UTSA, make them get off their game, and then we've seen offensively how Army, it just takes one play and they can bust a big one.
Yeah, this started with a trick play by UTSA. David Amador to Patrick Overmeyer for a touchdown. Again, UTSA got off to a hot start.
But then offensively, here's what they're predicated on. They get this defense so convinced to play inside, and then the triple option outside to Noah Short, and he's taking it the distance. That's how they can be explosive, and it got Army certainly back in the game at that time there.
And Short with 122 yards rushing in the first half on just 9 carries. Noah Short also has a 32-yard pass to Brady Anderson, but again, the 81-yard touchdown, the highlight, in addition to the pick 6 by Jaden Mays. Those two big plays, a big reason why Army does not have the advantage in time of possession, where they lead the country in that statistic.
Yeah, that's pretty unbelievable just to see that. But look at what they're doing rushing the ball now. A lot of that is obviously Noah Short doing that, 150 yards rushing. But what you don't see in this graphic, even though they're up 17-10, Army is 0 for 5 on third down. And that just shows you how efficient, when they do get the ball, they've made it count, and they've taken a 7-point lead here. UTSA's got to get back to running the football. Robert Henry only has 8 carries. He's got to be the main point.
And UTSA will have the ball to start the second half when we return to San Antonio. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. Not too far from the Riverwalk here in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome. UTSA and Army here late in the regular season. A bowl berth at stake for Army. And they lead by a touchdown after trailing 10-0 early. Roadrunners ball to start the third quarter. And they'll start from the 25. Downstairs, Natalie, you caught up with Jeff Traylor?
Guys, UTSA head coach Jeff Traylor told me that inside linebacker Kendrick Blackshear is questionable to return in the second half after suffering a lower body injury. That's a big piece against a run-heavy team like Army. The Black Knights trying to hand the Roadrunners their first home conference loss since 2019.
And before Jeff Traylor was the head coach, you have to go back to when Frank Wilson, now the interim head coach at LSU, was leading UTSA. They have never lost a home conference game as long as Traylor has been the head coach. Here's Will Henderson to start the drive, and he picks up a couple. What do you want to see from UTSA offensively here?
I would like to see them committed and stay committed to the run game. You're going to have dirty runs, meaning you're going to have those runs where you're 2, maybe 3, maybe even 1 yards, but you can't get frightened away from that. You're going to have to continue to run because that sets up everything else this offense likes to do. Now, if you get one-dimensional, that's going to play favor to the Black Knights on the other side.
UTSA came away with points their first 2 drives, nothing the next 3. Robert Henry Jr. finding an alley all the way to midfield. Henry has surpassed 1,000 yards on the season today. He picks up a big gain of 22 there.
He's just too good not to be the focal point of this offense. Here it is, just an inside zone run. That's a great block by the left guard. 4 times now, that's Trevor Timmons, number 63, and he does a great job of just creating a little bit of space, and that's all Robert Henry needs. Good run there.
And Henry follows it up with a 2-yard run on first down. There are few big play backs like him in college football, but Henry slowed by injury here late in the regular season, ramping back up in practice and back on the field here today after missing last week. McEwen also back from injury today, and Devin McEwen is out across the 45-yard line to set up 3rd and 3.
And to me, that play there is an extension of the run game. That's just like a long handoff, high percentage play. You've already got receivers and tight ends upside blocking. It's a screen play, but technically it's in that running game kind of foundation, if you will. High percentage, and now it sets you up at a favorable 3rd down. They were pretty good in that first half, 4 of 9 3rd down conversion. They got to get this here.
Roadrunners need the 41 of Army. Overmeyer, the tight end, the motion man. And Henry searching for daylight. He is dropped at the line of scrimmage. Andon Thomas was there, LD.
I'm telling you what, these 2 inside linebackers, 51 and 53 at home, they're not the biggest guys. They may not even be the fastest or strongest, but they are absolute football players, and they will stick their nose in the muck amongst these 320-pound-apiece offensive linemen.
And the Roadrunners keep the offense on the field in plus territory, 4th and 3. Going for it.
Is he going to have time? If they do decide to pass, this pass rush has been very, very good.
Screen for McEwen, hit immediately by Mays and others. And Army turns away UTSA to start the second half. Mays had the pick 6 to give Army the lead. Now the stick on 4th down.
And this is great, outstanding defense. Credit to Woody, the defensive coordinator, getting his guys to the ball to make the play.
Army with a big stop to open the second half. UTSA went for it near the 40, and Jaden Mays made sure they didn't get it.
Jaden Mays is having himself a game today, but watch the pursuit. It's like a pack of piranhas in the water, and it's every man to the football, and they rally. Here it is again. This is a great angle of it. You're running to the football. Everybody get a piece of the ball carrier. That is what Army football's defense is all about. They get in position, but then they make the play, and that might be one of the bigger defensive stops in the game.
A pick six and a fourth down stop for Mays, who had plenty of help. As they take over, Army gives it to God's Power Wawihe, the freshman recruited as a quarterback. He's being used as a running back here late in the season because of some injuries. They love his potential. Picks up about 3 yards on first down.
Well, Coach Worley told us that they love recruiting quarterbacks, and it's all about projection and what they see the players coming in. They may come in as a quarterback, but you may not finish your career at Army as a quarterback. You could be a receiver, and obviously in this case here, we see a quarterback going to running back and being effective.
And Wawihe, another native Texan back in his home state. That includes Cale Helms from Tomball, the greater Houston area, about 200 miles to the east. Helms did not have a big rushing first half, just 7 carries, 14 yards. Noah Short has done most of the damage.
And that's got to be a little bit of a concern if you're UTSA. Their best player hasn't been a focal point in the game. And we've seen him. He's had games of 41 carries, 38 carries last week. And right now this offense is in a prime position to put this in a tough situation for UTSA.
And Helm surges ahead for Army's first third down conversion of the game. They were 0 of 5 in the first half, but Helms continues the drive.
And now you're in a situation to where Army playing with the lead. We talked about it. They lead the country in TOP. Now they're going to bleed this clock. They're going to shorten this game. And so now you've got to be thinking, hey, when are we going to get the ball back offensively? Because we may not have a ton of time to maybe tie this thing up or try to come from behind.
It can mess with your mind when Army is rolling offensively, just clicking ahead like they're doing to start on this drive. Helms again inside the 40. Now, we mentioned he was back in his home state, LD. He has actually played here in the Alamo Dome once before. It was a high school playoff game with Tomball. He ran for 311 yards and 3 touchdowns almost 4 years ago to the day.
That's it. That's all he did, right? I mean,
as he told us, yeah, I think it was a good game. I was all right.
He downplayed that so calm and cool, but that's what quarterbacks should do. And that last play was their quarterback lead, right? It's a quarterback lead zone, and that's their bread and butter play when they can get that quarterback with the lead in the zone.
Now the handoff to Short, and he is chopped down at the 35, and it'll be 3rd and 1 for Army.
There you go. They're just chipping away, taking their time, being methodical, wearing this defense out because the defense has played a lot of plays, and now they're chasing, and they're still having to be physical at the point of contact. Now they've got a 3rd and less than a yard, in my opinion, here. It's set up perfectly the way the Black Knights want to play ball.
Yeah, remember, they faced a few 3rd and longs in the first half, couldn't convert. 3rd and 1 again. Helm straight ahead. And by the initial mark, as the officials walk in, it certainly looks like he's converted yet again.
Yeah, this is where the Roadrunners, you got to look at the guy next to you and say, hey, we got to be disciplined. We can't get out of rhythm and try to make a play, right? Come out of sync, meaning you can't try to strip the ball. You can't say, oh, let me make an individual play, because that's how you get burnt. So you have to stay the course. They're going to get 1 or 2 yards a pop, but you got to maintain your discipline if you're the Roadrunners defense.
Well, it's close enough to bring out the chains for a measurement. You know, in the NFL, you don't have this anymore with the virtual measurement, but here in college football, we've still got the chains.
This is like a fossil, you know, and sometimes now in football.
Every link matters.
Oh, boy.
Eyeball it. Kevin Randall's looking at it. Just short.
Oh, man.
By that much, apparently. Is that exact or not? It's 4th down no matter what.
Well, at least he didn't get the credit card and try to slide it in between.
Like in that Cowboys-Raiders game a few years ago. So 4th and inches. Helms has already converted with a sneak previously, and of course Army has run this play so well all season. He leaps over the top, and Helms has the first down.
You know, the people at home, you don't realize that's sometimes the hardest play for a quarterback to hold on to the ball, because you're trying to get your forward lean, but you've got so many hands, so many bodies, so much pulling and grabbing at you. The first priority, and Helms did a great job there, of just holding on to the ball in that instance there.
We mentioned Helms' high school game here 4 years ago. He actually threw for 8,000 yards in his career. Yes, he was a dual threat, but it's not like he was running a similar offense that he does now. Wawi sheds 1 tackle, and he picks up positive yardage, about 2. And so we asked Helms about it, and what was the transition like to Army, and a little flex bone, little gun, RPOs, everything that Army runs. He says, what attracted me to Army, just schematically more than anything, was the decisions that you have to make on a play-by-play basis. There is a UTSA player down. It is Nana and Yawu, an outside linebacker. We'll step aside. Under Coach Jeff Traylor, in the last 6 years, only 4 times has UTSA lost here at the Alamo Dome. On 2 of those occasions, it was Army prevailing, both in non-conference games. But now that Army is in the American, the streak of 25 consecutive home conference victories for Traylor since he became the coach is at stake. Down a touchdown and Army on the move again.
What you don't see in that graphic is all the teams that they beat. It wasn't like they scheduled some lower, collegiate level type teams. These were top programs coming into the Alamo Dome.
Helms to the perimeter. And chased by Davin Martin near the sticks.
And that's what I'm talking about in this defense. Now you've got to have some real concern as Helms is limping a little bit, and now he's starting to find some room and get to the edge. And that's what they want to do. They seal just enough, and he has enough speed to get to the perimeter. And here we are again. They've lived with this third and short, less than a yard situation. And if they can continue to do this, that is not a good sign for the Roadrunners defense.
For the third time on this drive, it's 3rd and 1. It's been a healthy dose of Helms so far. Once again, Helms burrows ahead, and he's got the first down. You know, Jeff Traylor was asked before the season about the home environment, the advantage here at the Alamo Dome, that win streak, all of that in conference play. And he said, you know, I just watched Avatar, and I feel like our team is like the Na'vi and their relationship with their home tree.
I agree, yes.
That's only
agree.
only Jeff Traylor can come up with that.
And he's one of the best you could ever talk to in a meeting like that. But I understand. And he's perfectly right, because they are tough to beat in this place.
Now a handoff to Carson Smith, and he trudges into the red zone. A gain of 3 to about the 19. Yeah, what did Jake Sully say in Avatar? This is our fortress where we make our stand. They need one right now against Army.
They need it, because Army is doing the equivalent to death by 1,000 cuts. They're just chipping away, like I said, and they're just milking the clock. They don't care to get these big explosive plays now. If they can get 2 or 3 yards a pop, they are in good standing in what they want to do.
Now in the shotgun, and it's another keeper for Helms, and is hit right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Owen Pee-wee. Yeah, that's his last name, making a big play for UTSA, and another Roadrunner defender is down.
Yeah, this is a game of attrition, because the fight is being brought from Army to the Roadrunners. It's a different style of game, because this is equivalent of a boxing match, right? You've got some tacticians in a boxing match. Then you go up against that brawler, and Army is the equivalent of a brawler. And now you've got to see if you can hang in, and we surely hope this Roadrunner is going to be okay and get off the turf here.
Now remember, Blackshire exited in the first half with an injury. Then Anyawu on this drive, and now another UTSA player down. Army is starting to roll now offensively after the sluggish start. They punted and turned it over on downs their first 2 possessions. Hi, Nat. There you are. Good to see for UTSA that Kenny Ozawalu is back to his feet. But Jeff Traylor told us this week, it is miserable playing Army. You have just 1 week to get ready for this versatile, multifaceted option attack.
Boy, that is so true. And I should have asked him, and I didn't think about it until basically today. Would it be better to play them the first game of the year? Because now you've got all offseason to get prepared for that. But to do it in a week, it's very, very difficult to play that style, especially when it's the 10th, 11th, 12th game of the year.
UTSA has put Army in 3rd and long for the first time on this drive. 3rd and 7.
Yeah, Army doesn't have to do anything crazy here. They've got 3 points at least for an attempt here.
And Carson Smith is hit right as he took the handoff. Driven down by James Wally and Shad Banks.
Yeah, that's a great play by the defense. You take the touchdown out of the equation, but Army still has a chance to add points. And here it is again, inside penetration. That is a great job of scraping and getting underneath the blocks. And that's what they need more of. Jimmy Wyrick coming down from his safety position, flying in, making a play.
Dawson Jones hit from 27 in the first half. This from 37. Well within his range. And Jones connects. It's now 20 unanswered points for Army after they trailed 10-0 early. Well, just a week from tomorrow, it'll be the exclusive reveal of the college football playoff, the 12-team bracket, the final rankings in a 4-hour special. The reason the guys will break it all down and, of course, reveal those matchups. It all starts at noon Eastern, Sunday, December 7th. There's one team from the American could very well find themselves in the CFP this year. Here in San Antonio, Army just trying to guarantee a bowl berth.
Ted, I think these return men got to think return. You can't sit there and fair catch this whole game. You've got to create something. And it's really, when you fair catch, in my opinion, it eliminates the ability of special teams making an impact.
Well, Mekhi Anderson did not listen to you. Instead, he waved his hand, and UTSA starts at the 25.
I'm old school, man. I think every moment just you can get your hand on the ball, you've got to think touchdown and go score.
Well, after a 10-0 lead for UTSA, Army has roared back 20 in a row, including a pick six by Jaden Mays. Just had a drive that lasted almost 8 minutes, resulting in a field goal. We've had only 2 possessions combined in this second half and under 4.5 to play. McCown hits Devin McEwen, and it's a first down to open this drive for UTSA across the 40-yard line.
Yeah, that's much, much better mechanics by McCown to stand in there, get his shoulders turned, get that footwork square, and throw an absolute strike to McEwen.
And expect UTSA to up the tempo here. I just want to put Owen McCown in a little bit of rhythm. Will Henderson cutting it back and dropped by Caleb Fortner. The 2 team captains this year for Army are Fortner and Andon Thomas, another Texas native from Liberty Hill, just north of Austin. The nickname for those two, they've been on every play, it seems like today, the Gremlins.
Yeah. I mean, you think of Gremlins, you think that little bitty ugly little thing, but these are 2 like hitting machines and tackling machines and fearless guys, and they embrace it and they play after it.
McCown whips it, incomplete. Nice coverage by Shields on Amador. Yeah, the nickname for Thomas and Fortner, the Gremlins, it was given to them by the inside linebackers coach, Justin Weaver. It comes from Nacho Libre, a particular scene, Jack Black, right?
I wish we could tell how Andon Thomas described that. It was hilarious.
But I watched that clip last night. Andon Thomas and Caleb Fortner are a lot bigger than those Gremlins in the ring against Jack Black. 3rd and 7. And here come those inside backers. And McCown's pass is incomplete. He wanted Houston Thomas. And Colin Madison met him at the spot.
Well, the Roadrunners offensive line is having a problem protecting. This time, Nate Woody, the defensive coordinator, decides to heat them up, and they bring pressure from the inside with the 2 Gremlins, and they get home, and it makes the pass just enough off the mark to where it's really a tough catch there for Houston Thomas. And that's what they do. They get you to first. They may have some success on first down. Second down, they get you, and then they put you in that 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 range, and then they can get exotic defensively and make you have to punt the ball.
Hogan, the product of Pro Kick Australia, like so many punters these days, forces the fair catch by Benson at the 15. A 40-yard punt by Hogan. Well, Cale Helms eclipsing 1,000 yards on the ground this season. And look at all of these stellar Army players that have surpassed both 1,000 yards and rushed for at least 15 touchdowns. This is elite company for Cale Helms.
It really is. And right there you see Bryson Daly. And yeah, you're right at the beginning, Brian. That is Captain America to be put in that same class. And he even mentions as Bryson Daly as a mentor. And he was able to watch the QB last year and how he led and how he took the weight room and everything serious.
The pitch is snuffed out. Noah Short dropped for a 5-yard loss.
Now this is what you have to do. Play discipline. Once you commit and identify the football, you've got to come up and make a play.
Lawrence Brown Jr. playing his assignment well. Anytime you're facing Army or really any of the service academies, the coaches talk about assignment football. There's the example. 2nd and 15. Helms has short open, but he overshot it. Incomplete.
He had him, Ted. That was it. That was it. That's what they're looking for. And UTSA, credit to them, they get this offense off schedule, so now they're getting a little bit predictable where they are going to try to put it up. And that's just one of those passes that, man, you got to lead the receiver, kind of drop it in the bucket. Tough to do when you're running, but that was there.
Oh, this is certainly not ideal for Army at 3rd and 15.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so shocked here if you just don't see a little bit of a belly give here to the fullback, Carson Smith. And we got Rendina in the game. I would not be just shocked if they just handed off to Rendina here.
And a timeout for Army.
I love what Coach Monken is doing. He does not waste time or possessions, right? Every situation, no matter if it's in the first quarter or here late in the third quarter, let's get it right. Let's all be on the same page so we can execute to full execution max if we can. And if we have to punt, that's okay. We're up 2 scores, but let's just be on the same page and protect the ball first and foremost.
Well, the American on ESPN Plus is home to 40-plus college football games, including this one, of course. Over 1,000 exclusive live events and every American Conference championship throughout the season. For more information, head to stream.espn.com. Again, Army trying to secure a bowl berth for a 2nd straight year. Won the American in its first year in the league. Went 8-0 in the regular season. Beat UTSA up at Michie Stadium to earn the right to host the championship game last year. And this year against UTSA in late November, they're trying to pick up that 6th win before they play Navy and earn a bowl berth. 3rd and 15, Helms heaves it incomplete. Once again over the head of Noah Short. Wyrick was in coverage. It's 4th down.
Well, that's a lot of trust in your quarterback there, Helms. You're backed up. It's a 3rd and a mile, in my opinion, for this offense, and you raise up and do the play-action pass. That shows a lot of trust in your quarterback. Now, you got to be careful here in the operation of punting the ball. You think UTSA, regardless of where this ball is punted, is going to have some of the best field position they've had in quite some time. And if I'm UTSA, I have return set on now. You've got to take advantage of these opportunities when you touch the ball.
James Wagenseller booms this one. Amador retreats to the 30. Amador steps out of 1 tackle, and he does cross the 40, but what a boot from the end zone by Wagenseller. Went about 70 yards in the air. It goes down as a 58-yard punt.
Fantastic punt. That was on a rope, too.
Owen McCown was on the road last year, as we mentioned, against Army. It was one of his worst games of his career. And here today, he has thrown his first home interception of the season, that pick 6 by Jaden Mays.
Yeah, you know what? And it's just one of those times when you a team that, you know, every quarterback has that team that they play or defensive scheme that they play, that they just don't have those gaudy numbers that you have. But playing quarterback's not about numbers and yards. It's about winning the game. And right now, you just got to find a way to do it.
And maybe a dose of Robert Henry Jr. will help. He picks up 4 on 1st down, met by Andon Thomas.
I've always been a big fan of when the quarterback is getting knocked down, he's not having his best game, but somehow, some way, he can wheel his team back from behind and win. That, to me, is more than throwing for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. If you can do that, that's the marker playing the position the right way, getting your team that dub.
McCown connects with Houston Thomas right near the sticks. A talented tight end moves the chains. It's a 1st down. And a man remains down for Army. That's Casey Larkin. Made the tackle. Oh, no. Larkin iced that win over UTSA last year with an interception. Just a pivotal piece for this Black Knights defense, and still down.
Yeah, great shot here. You're going to watch him. He's reading, sees the ball release, and there he goes in. And he grabbed his head. Yeah, it's always the innocent-looking plays that sometimes can do the most damage. And that right there, don't want to ever speculate, but he did grab his head, and such a sure tackler in the open space. And just one of these guys that's getting look from scouts. We talked to Coach Woody last night. He said, hey, this is the guy. When scouts come in, they're looking at Casey Larkin.
Army senior safety Casey Larkin remains down after he went low to make that hit on tight end Houston Thomas. Trainers have helped roll Larkin from face down to on his back, but still on the field and with his teammates and brothers looking on. It's great to see those fingers and hands moving. We'll step aside again here in San Antonio. Well, moments ago during the timeout, Casey Larkin did make it to his feet. So good to see this after the safety was injured making the tackle on Houston Thomas.
Yeah, that's always a great scene when you see a football player go down and they can get up on their own power. And so we hope certainly Casey Larkin is okay.
It was a first down for UTSA. Larkin, a leader on defense off the field. Stephen Nadozi takes his place. McCown throwing deep for Overmeyer, and he's got it inside the 10. A big strike from McCown. 40 yards to his other tight end.
Now this is a staple in this offense. They like to go play action and roll the quarterback away. And all they're doing is giving the tight end time to run the seam, and they get it matched up against the safety, who's a really good safety in Colin Madison. But the pass is thrown perfectly, and you can see Overmeyer has the ability to make the adjustment.
First and goal for UTSA. They have not scored since early in the second quarter, and Henry goes down right near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Henry just can't get that one little crack that he needs to get the top end speed. He's having to weave through some traffic at the line of scrimmage.
And that'll likely be the final play of the third quarter. It'll be second and goal for Owen McCown and UTSA. Army wants a bowl bid. UTSA wants to say perfect at home in conference games in the last 6 years. Army on top as we start the fourth quarter here in San Antonio. Moments ago, Natalie Calabat spoke with UTSA coach Jeff Traylor.
Coach, in what area do you need to execute best to win this game?
Well, we got to score right now here in the red. Get our guys back in this thing. Defense had a huge stop a while ago, so we're in it. We just got to go score right here and make it closer.
We'll let you get out there. Thanks.
Thank y'all. God bless.
The opportunity is there for Owen McCown in the Roadrunners offense. Goal to go. Second down from the 8. Will Henderson motions into the backfield. McCown to his second read. A leaping grab and a touchdown. And the second of the game for Patrick Overmeyer. UTSA within a score.
You know, Ted, sometimes to play Army, yes, it looks good on paper, but sometimes your guys just has to win. And right there, if you look at your tight end, Overmeyer just wins his matchup. And it's a good pass there by McCown to just throw it high enough, back shoulder, to where his guy can see it and make the play. X's and O's are great sometimes in most games. But when you play Army, your talent and a guy just has to make a one-on-one play to win.
And Michael Petro makes it a 3-point game here in the Alamo Dome, where that man has never lost in a conference game as the coach here at UTSA over the last 6 years.
Yeah, he's always calm, right? Even in that interview with Nat, you know, he's real calm. He said really plainly what they needed to do, and here it is. You get the matchup that you want. Yes, that play's supposed to go backside. He looked to his right, but then said, know what, I like this matchup a little bit better if I throw it high. And Overmeyer's such a good athlete at tight end that he can win that matchup, which is a very good safety that's in coverage right there as well.
So 2 touchdowns for the sophomore Overmeyer, who is a cousin, LD, of Kyle Rudolph, who spent 12 years in the NFL as a tight end, of course, was a star at Notre Dame.
Well, I'd be picking my cousin's brain for sure. Playing tight end.
I think he has. It's showing on the field.
Absolutely.
UTSA led this game 10-0 early in the second. Army scored 20 unanswered, but UTSA punching back. And Army, with their lead trimmed to 3, bringing Cale Helms back onto the field, where the offense was really clicking there on that drive that ended in a field goal to start this third quarter. Had to punt the last time. What are you watching at this point?
All Army needs to do is do what they're doing. And if they can end drives with kicks and not punts, they're in pretty good shape because they're going to milk this clock down. Keep in mind with the time of the game now, when they start this clock, 14:55.
Giving it to Samari Howard. And Howard makes it to the sticks. A gain of 10 on first down for the native of Temple, Texas, just up by 35.
And I think it's been really good today that this offense has some other players come up and make plays. You know, Noah Short kind of got the thing started. You know, we saw Carson Smith, Rendina. Now you're starting to see Samari Howard. He's typically out blocking, maybe even catching passes, but he gets a tote with the rock there, and that picks up a chunk yards and another first down.
Again, a bowl berth at stake for Army. They must win to guarantee a bowl bid. Helms stepping up, hit as he throws it, and it short hops. Noah Short, incomplete. Well, Helms got drilled.
Yeah, he did, and he tried to hang in there as long as he possibly could. Now, I don't like the route combination there because you had 2 receivers in the same area. I don't know who was right or wrong in that instance, but I think he was actually trying to get this ball downfield to Noah Short, who's the deepest receiver right there.
It was Brandon Tucker who brought the wood against Helms. 2nd and 10. The sweep to Short, throw it back and cut down in the backfield. Brady Anderson gets submarined by James Wally Jr. and a huge loss on the play of 12 yards.
And that's what we talked about, this defense having to be fundamentally sound and being disciplined and don't overcommit. This is a great job by Wally Jr. to stay home backside. And so much is preached during the week to stay home, assignment football, but you've got to fight that urge to chase the play down from behind. Great job there by Wally.
Again with Blackshire shaken up. More playing time for Wally. 3rd and 22. Helms for a yard. It's 4th down. UTSA rising up defensively again.
And that might be one of their better defensive stands we've seen in the game at the moment, right? Because in the first half, yes, you're just trying to feel things out. But when the game is coming down to crunch time here in the 4th quarter, now this defense needs to rear up and continue to give your offense possessions, because that's Army's game, is to run this clock down as much as they can and make you have to scramble to try to catch up.
Amador awaits. Wagon Seller's punt.
Great kick.
Another good one from Wagon Seller. Amador hit at the 35. Took 2 big shots. One of them from Jake Rendina. Timeout. UTSA down 3 with the ball. Final full week of the regular season here in the American. UTSA and Army in the middle of the pack. UTSA became bowl eligible last week with their win over East Carolina. They'd love to guarantee a winning record this season with a win today. Army must win today to guarantee a bowl bid. Yes, they have Navy still to come, but that game is after all the bowl matchups are announced. The only way to secure a bowl bid is winning here today in San Antonio. After the stop and the Army punt, UTSA has it back, down 3, early 4th quarter. And Owen McCown, his pass is dropped by Houston Thomas, trying to make that sliding grab.
Yeah, that's one you got to get. That's a gimme throw. And, you know, I thought he kind of rectified it a little bit, got his mechanics a little bit better throwing to the right, but that pass is off the mark one more time. And, You know, Thomas is open, and you just got to put it on him.
It hasn't been the cleanest day for McCown, coming off a career-high 5 touchdown passes in the win over East Carolina. He's thrown his first interception at home this season. It was a pick 6 by Jaden Mays. Now the wraparound draw with Henderson, the speedster. And Henderson made a few men miss. Stopped at the 42. It'll be 3rd and 3 for the Roadrunners.
That's pretty impressive, and for a few mere mortals, that's probably a 2-yard loss, but watch him go to work. He gets this, and bang, he makes one guy miss, he makes a couple of other guys miss, and then he just kind of dances. And now you get back on schedule, because with the play before, it put him behind the chains, but now with that run by Henderson, you've got a 3rd and very manageable here.
Jamel Hardy goes in motion. McCown throwing back to Henderson. And the cutback earns him the first down. Andon Thomas was there in the end. First down for UTSA.
Yeah, Coach Traylor saying, hey, that should have been a face mask, and I got to agree. That should have been a face mask call. It's pretty blatant. And this line judge, I don't know what he was looking at. Yeah, yeah, he kind of snagged it. He didn't hold on to it, but you still got to throw the flag, and it may have been the 5-yard variety penalty, but
it wasn't just the shoulder pad. It is a first down. No penalty. Now Henderson with more space, with a blocker in front. Will Henderson tripped up by Thomas, the Texas native. That's the only thing that prevented the touchdown.
Well, nothing is more frustrating for a defensive coordinator to call the perfect play. They call a corner fire. But Mays has got to make the play. And if you don't make the play, your defense is already out of position. And talk about the speed. Henderson almost took it there.
41 yards. And they feed Henderson again for a couple to the 11.
Yeah, I like what they're doing. They're getting different packages in the game with Henderson. And Henderson, the faster of the 2 running backs, in my opinion, he's able to maybe see something a little bit different than what Henry is. And that's no fault of Henry. It's just the element of being a human, right? You see blocking differently. We see everything differently. And Henderson right now benefited on the last play before. And you can see why he's still in the game now.
Yeah, Henderson coming off back-to-back career games, over 100 yards with Robert Henry ailing. Number 2 back today. McCown the shovel pass to Thomas. And he goes airborne to the 7. So 3rd down now for UTSA.
And you can see Justin Burke is just trying to get Army's defense off their marks, trying to do a little misdirection, trying to throw the shovel pass underneath. And typically that's a pretty nice little game, but Army staying good and being in the right space to minimize a big play potential even on that play.
What are you looking for here on 3rd and 4?
I think you have to keep running the ball in the element here. You still have a chance to run the ball. You don't necessarily need to throw the pass here.
The bigger back, Amarion Peterson, is in. They fake the screen. McCown throws to the end zone, and it's a touchdown. The first of the season for sophomore Jamel Hardy. A go-ahead score for UTSA.
Well, Ted, like we did on the last touchdown play, sometimes your guys have to be football players and just win. This is not where the ball should have been thrown. They've got triple coverage there, but Hardy's a big physical wide receiver, 6'2", 195 pounds. And if you just give him a chance to make a play, it's like basketball, blocking out, getting that rebound. But this case, it's a TD for the Roadrunners.
Now UTSA has rallied from down 20 to 10 to up 24 to 20 as Owen McCown puts the Roadrunners in front. thanks to Owen McCown and Jamel Hardy. UTSA back on top here in their regular season finale. They were down by 10 earlier in the third quarter. Now up 24-20, and time of possession always dominated by Army. They lead the country in this statistic for good reason. It's about dead even today.
I would have lost a lot of money if you probably told me that at the beginning of the game. I said, oh, no way. Army is going to probably win that by 2-1 possession-wise. And it is dead even.
Again, I think the story behind that is Noah Short's 81-yard touchdown run, Jaden Mays with a pick six. Huge plays for Army, limiting that time of possession. But now it's Cale Hellam's turn, trailing again, down 24-20, fourth quarter, his return to Texas. It's a moment that he probably dreamed of.
Absolutely, and this offense cannot afford to get behind the chains. They have to have somewhat of some success on first and second down, because when they get in second and long or even third and long, boy, that is not their game.
The option pitch to Short. And not much room along the sideline.
Well, boy,
shoved out. And I don't see a flag, but it was awfully close to that territory.
Well, I think the line judge was trying to grab his flag, but it was too deep in his pants and he couldn't get it out. Otherwise, that's a late hit out of bounds. But
no,
incredible.
He could have thrown it after, but no.
That's a 100% a flag.
Give it to Short again, to the other side. And he spills across the 30-yard line. Ty and Milton knocking him down. Third down for Army. They need 4.
So it's the gift and the curse for this offense. They'd like to go attack the perimeter, but if you don't block it 100% clean, well, now you play into the speed of this defense. And the speed of the defense can make up for any kind of miscalculation schematically, and you're seeing it on the last 2 plays here.
Army has struggled mightily on third down here today. Hellam sticks his nose in, and he picks up a couple. It's 4th and 2. And yes, even at this part of the field, it is decision time for Jeff Monken.
Yeah, I think he's made his decision. You don't see the special teams running on. You see Hellam still in the game.
Jeff Monken has gone for it from his own 10 in his 12-year tenure. He's going for it here in the fourth quarter. An offense built to pick up 2 yards. They need him here. Short in motion. Hellam's got hit, and the toss is caught. Underthrown, but taken in by Samari Howard, adjusting to the football. A gain of 15.
Oh, Ted, oh my gosh. Put that in the highlight reel for Hellam's. Under duress, falling back, getting hit. It still gets enough out for the pass.
Ran into his own man on the dropping back. And now Hellam's skates into UTSA territory with a gain of about 5.
Now watch him reverse pivot. Now he gets banged up, and now he's having to stumble with pressure in his face, but he gets enough on the pass to where his guy, Howard, can come back and make the adjustment and make that catch. That is some grit by this offense, and Coach Monken believing in his guys.
Just the second completion of the game for Hellam's. He's 2 of 7 for 20 yards. Hellam's to throw again, down the seam, and the pass is knocked away. Will it be incomplete or a fumble? They call it incomplete. He wanted Tex Brannon. So called incomplete for Tex Brannon. Yes, a tight end named Tex is from the state of Texas, and it's third down.
Yeah, it's one of the better throws of the game for Hellam's. He puts it up high, but it's an even better play by Jimmy Wyrick to come in and make the pop. It's a bang-bang play, and it's timed out perfectly, and that's what those safeties are supposed to do.
And they'll actually take a closer look at this. Of course, the key here with it being ruled incomplete, the clear recovery by the defense. Is it incomplete or a fumble? Well, it was ruled incomplete on the field, and after review, it is still incomplete. Not enough to overturn that call. One more look here, LD.
Yeah, I think this is the right call. It's awfully close, right? He kind of tries to tuck it away. Such a bang-bang play, but it was just not enough to overturn the call that was already made on the field.
And there was a clear recovery by UTSA, but certainly not enough evidence to overturn that. 3rd and 5 for Army, down by 4 in the 4th quarter. Short on the jet sweep, and Short is buried at the line of scrimmage. No gain to bring up 4th and 5.
Boy, UTSA has shored up their defense, because now those edges were pretty clean for the first part of the game that Army was getting to the outside. Now UTSA is beating Army to the punch. Yeah, and I think you got to go, because now time is not on your side. You need the football.
Can Helms and his homecoming deliver on 4th and 5? 3 edge rushers, and the jump ball is pulled in by Parker Pulaski, the starting tight end. First down for Army.
This is incredible. Just when you think they may be dead, here they empty the backfield, and they get the tight end. He runs a seam right up behind his linebackers, and he's wide open, and it's a perfect pass, and he brings it down.
Just the 3rd catch of the season for Pulaski. Under 5 to play, a first down. Helms follows Rendina into the hole. And across the 30-yard line, a gain of 5.
Now, if you're UTSA, you got to get your mentals right now, because now they've converted a couple of big plays here on 4th down on this drive, and you figured you had them dead to rights, but they keep fighting back. So now you got to regroup mentally and make sure you stay in this game and be disciplined like you have been. Otherwise, this is where Army can raise up and they can hit that big one running the ball. Not necessarily passing, but running the ball.
And with 4:40 to go, Army can almost revert to 4-minute offense, eyeing a go-ahead and potentially game-winning touchdown. With not much time left. Helms, nice block on the edge again. A 1st down, close to the 10-yard line. They call him Hellboy for a reason. Cale Helms puts Army on the doorstep.
Well, Cody Worley saved this one. This is a inverted read option again, but this time they bring the backside tackle, Teddy Williams, number 74, and he gets a great block to create a little bit of a seam, and then you essentially have a running back at quarterback in Cale Helms, and he's able to get the seam and crease him.
18 yards for Helms, 1st and goal. Bowl bid at stake for Army. And a timeout. Who called it?
Man, I think Coach Munkin is saying who called it. Okay.
Okay. Well, nobody did.
Appreciate that, kid.
Helms marked at the 10-yard line where it's 1st and goal. But did he step out before reaching the 10?
I love what Cody Worley is doing. He's saving his best quarterback isolated runs to when he absolutely needs it. And you've seen it a couple of times here on this drive. And then on this play here that we're looking at the review where he stepped out, that's one of the rare times that they fake the read option look, but then they also bring a guard for protection, and it's almost like a power running for the quarterback. And here's the end of that play.
So keep an eye on the feet. Probably going to look at the left foot there. Is there enough to say that he stepped out right there before the spin and lunging down to the 10?
Hard to tell there.
I mean, yeah, of course it's close to the line. But with the spin, he put Army in goal to go at the 10.
That looks out.
Yeah, from that angle, the toe, right?
Yeah, and sometimes with this field turf, you need to see where the rubber flicks up. And wherever you see the rubber flick up from where his feet, that'll more times than not tell you where his foot actually was. Those rubber pellets, you can kind of get a good read from that sometimes.
But the question is there enough to say he definitively stepped
Yeah,
out there? Remember,
absolutely.
it has to be clear and obvious to move the spot. Get ruled on the field as down at the 10. There's another angle. It's tough from the opposite side, certainly, to truly tell. Kevin Randall is still at the viewfinder. And no, he's not catching up on his Disney Plus queue. He is looking at what we're all looking at, I think.
He may have already made a decision. He might be watching it in there, man. Let's see. Yeah, that right there, just. I mean, it looks like it's.
I just don't think there's enough to definitively say, oh, yes, he stepped out there at around the 14.
Right.
And so it is 1st and goal for Army at the 10.
Now, we'll say this. That stoppage of play benefits the defense now because you kind of slow the momentum Army down, and it also gives your defense a chance to collect their breath and maybe reset the mindset a little bit.
It's been a hard-earned 71 yards on 21 carries for Cale Helms. In with 35 friends and family on hand, here as he returns to the state of Texas. First and goal for the Black Knights. Helms tunneling just past the 6.
Well, that's a great way to describe it too. It is tunneling because you're going to get into some traffic and you just need to keep your feet moving. Now you've got your running back Rendina. He's kind of up in there trying to clean up as much as he can for you, but that's exactly what that play is designed to do, is just trying to tunnel your way to get 2 to 3 yards if you can.
Closing in on 3 minutes remaining. Second and goal. Helms again, powering past the 5, and he got stoned at the 4, so third and goal for Army.
And these big body defensive linemen for UTSA making their presence felt. This is where they got to get big and kind of hold their ground.
And UTSA calls a timeout. Jeff Monken trying to lead his team back to a bowl game. They can guarantee themselves a bowl bid with the victory today. At 5-5, yes, they still have Navy in Baltimore in a couple of weeks, but that game, of course, comes after the bowl matchups are announced. UTSA securing bowl eligibility last week with the win over East Carolina. They want to secure a winning record no matter what happens in their bowl game.
Yeah, a lot of stakes on the line here, and for Army, they've got a golden opportunity. And if you talk to them, they just want to win the game. They're not necessarily worried about bowls and all this kind of stuff like that. Now, some of the players may be. You talk to Coach Monken, he's all about the process. We want to win the game. We want to do what it takes, and that's what he told us. He says, right now, we got to do your job and follow the plan. And the plan right now is to put this ball in the end zone, and we'll figure everything else out later on.
And the ball's going to be in the hands of Cale Helms, of course. Third and goal. On the rollout, Helms to the end zone. It's a touchdown for Parker Pulaski. A homecoming for Hellboy, a go-ahead score, and the first touchdown by an Army tight end since 2008.
And Cody Worley is smiling at you, Ted. That's the one thing that they have not been able to find out and get in their offense, and it's a beautiful play design. You've got misdirection, you've got to sell the play action pass, and nobody in their right mind on defense is thinking about the tight end. And Pulaski, he goes across the formation and gets hidden, Ted. And when you've got a quarterback that is a gamer, he's an absolute gamer, he is going to find the right way to make the play, and he made the play there.
Tex Brannon, the other Army tight end, scored a 2-point conversion last week. And we asked Cody Worley, the offensive coordinator, last night about tight ends being featured in the offense. We saw the stat that no Army tight end has scored a touchdown since 2008. He said, we rep plays like this every single week. Maybe you'll see something tomorrow. Well, there it is.
There it is. It's come to fruition. And what about a time of it too, right? I mean, when they absolutely had to have it. And this game is far from over. And this point here makes it still a one-score game, and still plenty of time for UTSA to go down and answer.
And Dawson Jones adds the PAT. Army seizing the lead. Helms does it through the air.
Yeah, it's a play-action pass, and I love the fact that they moved the quarterback after that. And so now you've got the defense chasing, and you lose track of Pulaski, and there he is in the back of the end zone. Great hand, secured the catch. That's a beautiful play call there by Cody Worley.
Remember, Pulaski had the big 4th down conversion on the drive. And he pays it off with the touchdown from Cale Helms. 13 plays, 75 yards, 6 minutes and 21 seconds. A work of art from Jeff Monken's offense in a big situation.
And that drive just kind of sums up how this team is, right? Just no quit, full of grit, determination. Even when all odds are against them, they find a way to get it done, and they did their job there. Now, game's not over, like I said. Defense has got to do their part, because UTSA feels like, and we saw it on a couple of sessions, they feel like they've got something going offensively, but they're going to have to get it right here with 2:49 left.
And by the way, that last Army tight end to score a touchdown, Mike Evans against New Hampshire. No, not the Tampa Bay Buccaneer, future Hall of Famer. Mike Evans with Army back in 2008. And UTSA to start from the 25, down by 3 with under 3 to play. Well, across the American, of course, the championship game on Friday night on ABC, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's coming into focus. We know one side of that matchup. The North Texas Mean Green at 11-1 with their win over Temple yesterday. And it will be Tulane joining them there if the Green Wave beats Charlotte tonight. 7:30 Eastern on ESPNU. Coming up about 40 minutes from right now. But here in San Antonio, Owen McCown wants to complete the regular season with a victory himself. He shoots it to Overmeyer, who's caught 2 touchdowns today. And a first down for the Roadrunners across the 35.
I absolutely love that play call. You empty the backfield, and you go empty set. It declares the defense, and you get the matchup you want with Overmeyer.
McCown, the RPO, bobbled by Overmeyer, but he did secure it at the 39 with a gain of 3. We tick down to almost 2 minutes here. We got the 2-minute timeout. UTSA also has 2 timeouts in their back pocket.
And it's going to have that 2-minute warning too, so they've got an extra chance for a stoppage as well.
McCown dancing, shoveling at the last second.
That's going to be grounding.
Nobody there. McCown outside the pocket, however.
That's the same play that Arch Manning did last night against A&M. Very similar, and they did call.
Wow.
Okay, let's take a look at this. Here we go. They absolutely cannot take a sack. That's a great job by Eric Ford.
Is Devin McEwen the receiver in the area, about 8 yards upfield?
I don't know. I think that is.
Well, and what they're looking at here, you just heard Kevin Randall, was McCown down almost parallel to the field, LD, as he was trying to get rid of it. You know, this play popped up on Thanksgiving, the Cowboys and Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, and he was ruled down after review. Let's take a closer look ourselves.
Well, how about that pass rush there by Eric Ford? He did a great job, and I think this is going to tell you everything that you need to.
Is that ball still that ball is still in his hands.
Still has it, Ted.
I think that.
Oh man!
I think that's a sack for Eric Ford.
Yeah, I think so. I just think, to me, well, first of all, this play is negative either way for UTSA, right? Even if you called intentional grounding, which in my opinion, that's what should have been called, that ball has to go forward towards the line of scrimmage. I see McEwen there, but that pass is not going in his direction. So let's cross that out now. But yes, in that shot there, unless I'm seeing it wrong, that's a sack.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a sack.
I'm with you. I think McCown is down, and Eric Ford from Laurel, Maryland, would have his 3rd sack of the year. Another look here. Check that left knee of Owen McCown.
Down.
He's down before the ball is out of his hands.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
It's the right call.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. Now, Justin Burke, you had that stoppage, so you've got two scenarios, okay? If it's not a sack, we've got this place that we want to try to go, but if it is a sack, and with the ball pushed back, 3rd and 11, okay, now we've got to think in terms like Army does. Hey, if it's 3rd and long in desperation, we need to at least think half of it, right? And if we do go to 4th down, let's give ourselves a chance on 4th down if we have to do that.
Now the clock might roll here to the 2-minute timeout. Jeff Traylor was signaling for the clock to roll, and there it goes. 2 minutes remaining. 3rd and 11 for UTSA here in San Antonio. For Army, a bowl bid hangs in the balance. For Jeff Traylor at UTSA, it's the longest home conference winning streak in the nation. 25 in a row, spanning Jeff Traylor's tenure of 6 years. Down by 3, and 3rd and 11 for the Roadrunners out of the 2-minute timeout.
Now they need this offensive line to do their best job of pass protection. It's been shaky throughout the course of this game, but they've got to protect up front.
Army rushes just 3. McCown has time. He lasers it to Overmeyer, and a great tackle by Jaden Mays in the open field. He's had a huge game. It's 4th and 4.
Now Jaden Mays continued to flash throughout the course of this game, and here's the biggest play of the game now. They got over half of what they needed to get the 1st down, and here it is on 4th down. You got to have your best 4th and 5, 4th and 6 play.
Again, 2 timeouts left for UTSA. 4th and 4, gotta have it. Again, a 3-man rush. McCown's pass broken up. He wanted Overmeyer. He found the back of Colin Madison instead. And Army takes over with 1:20 remaining.
And it's such a great job by this defense. They knew the tight end has been wearing them out here in this second half, and watch the attention that the tight end gets. You've got two defenders over there taking that kind of underneath throw away, and when you sit underneath that, that quarterback has got to come off of that, because if you've got two defenders on one, that means you've got one-on-one somewhere or somebody else is open.
It is not quite kneel it out territory with UTSA having 2 timeouts. 1:20 to go. Helms with a first down, and that should seal it right there.
Well, that's their bread and butter play right there, that quarterback lead zone. You got to dance with the one that brought you, and here it is. It's just that lead, and you can see Rendina. He's the first guy up in there, and they block it as best as they've done, I think, the entire game at the right moment, Ted. And they're able to gash, and you can see right there that emotion from Helms. Oh, that was a big conversion there.
Now, UTSA calls one of those timeouts with 1:13 remaining, but just about academic now. You know, Cale Helms' brother, Knox, actually played basketball here at UTSA for 1 year, the 2019-2020 season. And we asked him about it yesterday. Knox actually still lives here in San Antonio. Helms drops to his right knee. Have to do that just one more time. Cale told us that his brother Knox ran into athletic director Lisa Campos here at UTSA. He was the AD when Knox played basketball here, and they were catching up, and Knox said, oh, you know, you guys are playing Army this season. They're coming here. My brother Cale is on the team. Lisa Campos was not aware of that. So Knox relays that to Cale, and it really fired him up. He said to us, I'm going to show everyone who I am in San Antonio here today.
He absolutely did. You know, he's tough. He's tough as nails, and everybody says it. What a gritty win. This is outstanding. This is what they needed, and they did it to perfection. I thought they took care of the ball when they absolutely needed, and the big plays down the stretch for the scoring drive was huge.
The Army Black Knights are bowl-bound again, and little chippiness at the very end of what was a physical seesaw game here in San Antonio. But Jeff Monken's team, led by Cale Helms, are headed back to a bowl game. An impressive victory here on the road, 27-24, as they become the first team in conference play to beat UTSA here in the Alamo Dome in the last 6 years.
Well, they got the secret sauce, Ted, for whatever it is. They just feel comfortable coming here. I don't know if it's the military city element of it, if they just feel like, hey, we travel well, and I think they do. In the game and the way they play, can play anywhere. And once they kind of settled in, and I thought their defense changed the whole dynamic of this game from the second quarter on, and it made it very difficult for UTSA to get going offensively. And then Army got going at the end of the game and do what they've done the entire season. And they've been now in 8 one-score games in the year. And this side, they're on the good side of it.
Downstairs to Natalie with Cale Helms.
Cale, congratulations on the win. How does it feel, a Texas native, to win in this building?
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, I had so many guys step up. It was awesome to come back down to my home state, and I had a lot of family and friends here, and to play in front of them, it meant the world.
And you're bowl eligible. What does that mean to this program?
It's a great reward for this program, right? You know, last week we were so close, and we didn't execute at the end, and we let it slip, and We knew it was going to be a tough fight to get bowl eligible. We came out here and we got it done.
What is it about this group that allowed you to get it done under pressure last game to make it happen?
Yeah, you know, I'm so blessed. God has blessed me so much to let me lead this team. You know, I'm surrounded by around elite men, and you know, to rally like we did. You know, those guys are the toughest dudes in America. You know, I just so thankful to be in this opportunity, be in this moment. You know, I didn't play my best, but I had guys step up and you know make plays, and I needed that.
Kale, thanks so much. Congratulations.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Oh, and more pushing and shoving here at the very end. There is just no need for this. At the end of a great ball game like that.
I know. Well, what's so bad about it? Army's just showing respect to their school song. And that's what's so bad about it. They do that after every game to every opponent. All you need to do is watch the Army-Navy game here in a couple of weeks, and you get the idea of that.
Well, today, the Alamo Dome belongs to Army. Here in Military City, USA, San Antonio, Army perseveres, and they are bowl eligible with a come-from-behind 27-24 win over UTSA. Still Navy to come in a couple of weeks, but Army knows they are going to a bowl game yet again. Reminder, coming up shortly on ESPNU, Tulane trying to wrap up a spot in the American Conference Championship against North Texas. Look out, Jeff. Where are you going? For LaDarren McClain, Natalie Calabat, our entire crew, Ted Emmerich saying so long from the Alamo City.